Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. Today we are going to discuss about the life cycle of porella. So you can mention here life cycle of porella. So when we talk about the life cycle of porella, in the first step we are going to discuss about the reproduction in porella. So you can mention here reproduction in porella. So which are the reproduction, which types of reproductions takes place in the porella? So two types of reproductions exist in the porella. So first type of reproduction is known as sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction, and the second type of reproduction in the porella is vegetative reproduction. So in the first we will discuss about its vegetative reproduction. So when we talk about the vegetative reproduction, then there are three methods through which this vegetative reproduction takes place. So which are actually the three methods which are involved in the asexual or a vegetative reproduction? So first method is known as death and decay. So what actually are the meanings of these words death and decay? How the word death and decay is involved in the vegetative reproduction, it's a very interesting actually. So let me tell you that how death and decay is involved in the vegetative reproduction. For example, this one is the part of body of porella actually. So this one is actually older part. This one is older part, and here these are the branches, and this is a younger part of the body of porella. Younger part of porella body. This one is younger part of porella body. So here is a point from where these branches are actually separating from each other. If this whole portion will die or decay, then these all branches will become separated from each other. So that's why this older part when will die or decay, these all branches will grow and produce a new porella body. So that's why this vegetative reproduction names as death and decay process. So it was a first method through which vegetative reproduction take place. So now there is a second portion or a second method. The first method was death and decay, and the second method is known as discoid gamy. So now it is necessary for us to understand what are the meanings of discoid gamy and what are the structures actually which are involved in the vegetative reproduction. So firstly I want to tell you that these are the structures which are present at the margins of the leaf. For example, this one is a leaf of the porella, and definitely we know that these are actually the margins of the leaves. And these discoid gamy are present at the margins of the leaves, and these are known as discoid gamy. And these discoid gamy are only 2 cell thick, not more than 2 cells are present in each gamy or a discoid gamy. Actually these are disc like, and these are 2 cell thick. So these are actually the discoid gamete, and when the plant will die, then these discoid gamete are involved to grow a new plant body of porella. So that's why these discoid gamete are also involved in the vegetative reproduction. So now we are going to discuss about the third method, which is known as actually the third method, which is known as tubers. So it means it is a tuber. It means the vegetative reproduction also take place through the tuber. So what are actually the tuber? We know that the body of porella has extensive branched system or a prostate system, and these branches are actually present in the underground. It means these branches are present in the soil, and these branches become swollen inside the ground and become dormant for a longer period of time for a unfavorable conditions. And when the conditions are favorable, then these parts will grow and produce a new plant body of porella. So we can say that these are three methods through which vegetative reproduction takes place. So after the vegetative reproduction, now we are going to discuss about the sexual reproduction actually. So when we talk about the sexual reproduction, then we have to understand that the body of a porella or a porella plant is monoecious or a dioecious. So we can write here the most of the species of porella are dioecious. So we can write here most of porella species are dioecious. Most of the porella species are dioecious, but only a single species which is present in this genus, which is monoecious. So now it is very important for us to understand what are the meaning or what is the difference between dioecious and monoecious actually. So when we talk about this word dioecious, it means both plant, male and female plant are separate, or a male and female sex organs are present on the different plants. And if we talk about this word monoecious, then we can say that both male and female sex organ are present on the same plant. Dioecious means male and female sex organs are present on the different plant, and monoecious means male and female sex organ are present in the same plant. So most of the species of porella are dioecious, but only one species is existing, which is actually monoecious. So our main focus is on the dioecious actually. So when we talk about the dioecious, then we have to know that, and it is clear for us that the two separate plants are present. So one plant is actually a male plant and the second plant is actually a female plant. So we can write here two types of plant here. Two types of plants actually. What are the two types of plant? One is a male plant and second is female plant. Male plant actually produce a male sex organ, and the name of male sex organ is antheridia. Name of the male sex organ is known as antheridia, and the sex organ in the female plant is known as archegonia. The name of female sex organ is actually archegonia. So in the first, we are going to discuss about the male plant actually, and what are the antheridia. So actually, out of these both, we are taking firstly the male plant. So actually the antheridia or a male sex organ. So you can write here, now we are going to discuss about antheridia. So now we are going to discuss what are the antheridia. Actually these are male sex organs. Male sex organs. These are present on the short fertile branch of the plant body. For example, this one is a male plant and this is a branch, and at the tip of branch these are the structure which are known as male sex structure or a male sex organ, and these male sex organs are known as antheridia. Antheridia actually. This is a stem of male plant. Stem of male plant. This one is a branch of male plant. This one is a antheridia, which is a male sex organ. Male sex organ. And these male sex organs are produced at a long stalk like structure actually, and this is a long stalk. At the stalk antheridia are present, and inside the antheridia the antherozoid will produce actually, and the antherozoid will produce inside this antheridia. But one thing which is very important to understand is that this is a male branch, short branch of male plant, and it is present the stalk, and here are some leaf-like structures actually, and these leaf-like structures are present at the stalk where male sex organ is present. These leaf-like structure are known as bracts. Bracts, it means these bracts are surrounding the male sex organ at the fertile branch of the porella. So it was that all about antheridia. So after this we are going to discuss that how these antheridia will develop on the plant body of porella. So it means now we are going to discuss about the development of antheridia. Development of antheridia. How the antheridia are developed on the male plant body of porella. For example, keep in mind that we are going to discuss diagrammatically. For example, this one is a main stem and this one is a branch, and these are the bracts which are actually structures which are covering the male portion, and this is the apical portion or apical cells. So you can mention here, this is a stem, this is a small branch, and this is apical cell. This apical cell grow in size. When this apical cell will grow in size, it means it become large. So how will it become large? Like this. So actually this is an apical cell which is increasing in size and become large or a globe like. So what will happen when this apical cell will become large? So actually this apical cell is known as antheridial initial cell. So we can write here antheridial initial cell, which is present on the short branch of the male plant body of porella. So what will happen actually? This cell divide. So when this cell will divide, it produce two cells. So how these two cells are produced? So when this cell divide vertically like this, for example, this one is a cell, this one is the same this cell. When this cell will divide transversely, it produce two cells. One is upper cell and other is lower cell. So we can write here, this one is upper cell and this one is a basal cell. So what will happen, and these cells will produce which type of structures? The upper cell will act as antheridial mother cell. So we can write here, this cell, upper cell, also act as antheridial mother cell. And this basal cell is actually involved in the formation of embedded part of stalk. So this basal cell will make the embedded part of stalk. For example, this one is embedded part of stalk, and this embedded part of stalk is formed by this basal cell. And still this upper antheridial cell is present. Antheridial, this one is a mother antheridial cell and this one is a basal cell. Actually, it is changed into embedded portion of stalk. So we can write here, it is an embedded stalk actually. So I can write here, embedded stalk. So what will happen actually, this antheridial cell will again divide. So when this antheridial cell will again divide, it will produce again two cells. These two cells are produced by the division of this antheridial mother cell. This is known as antheridial mother cell. So what will happen actually, when this antheridial mother cell is actually divide, it produce two cells, and this is upper cell and this is lower cell. These both cells are produced by division of this cell, and this cell is known as antheridial mother cell. It means antheridial mother cell divide and produce two cells. This cell is known as primary antheridial cell. This is known as primary antheridial cell, and the lower cell is known as primary stalk cell. And these primary antheridial cell and primary stalk cells are produced as a result of division of antheridial mother cell. So what will happen actually? Primary antheridial mother cell is involved again in division, but this primary stalk cell make a stalk like this. For example, this is a body and this is a stalk, and this stalk is produced by this primary stalk cell, and this is a primary antheridial cell, and this primary antheridial cell will again divide vertically and produce two cells. These two cells are produced as a result of division of this cell, which is known as primary antheridial cell. This primary antheridial cell divide and produce these two cells, and now these two cells will divide and produce six cells. How these are involved in the formation of six cells? Like this. These are two cells, and these are two cells. They produce, this is a stalk actually. Now these two cells produce six cells. 4 out of these 6 cells, again I am telling you that 4 out of these cells are known as jacket initial cells. Are known as 4 cells are known as jacket initials, and Two out of these four are known as androgonial cells. Two out of these are known as androgonial cells. These four jacket initial cells will actually make the wall of the antheridium. So, for example, this one is the wall of antheridium. This is the wall of antheridium. Actually, this is actually the wall of antheridium, and this wall of antheridium is produced by these four jacket initial cells, and remaining two cells are known as androgonial cells, and these androgonial cells actually divide the primary antheridial cells, and primary antheridial cell will divide to produce motile biflagellated antheridia. So actually these are antherozoid which are produced as a result of division of these androgonial cells. And upper portion, this upper portion is known as wall of antheridium, and this wall of antheridium is produced by these four jacket cells. So what will happen actually when the conditions, when this will ripen, the wall of antheridia will burst and these antherozoids will swim through the water and reach to the female portion, female sex organ, which is known as arch.